In January of 2019, my husband and I chartered a little tin fishing boat off the Gulf Coast in Mexico, and we took our kids on this adventure to go find flamingos in the wild. And we went out into the ocean, and it was just the seven of us and our guide in the boat, and we're going down the ocean. We turned the corner into the river, and this is where the flamingos hang out when they migrate. The water is shallow. It's where the salt water meets the fresh water. These are great places for them to find their food and to create their the places where they have their chicks and nurture their young. And as we rounded that corner, I don't know what I was expecting, but what I saw was clouds of pink everywhere, thousands and thousands of flamingos. And it was so unnatural to see that color out in the middle of this expanse of blue sky and blue water and green jungle on the sides, right? It was such an impactful experience for me that I couldn't get it out of my head. And I started studying flamingos, which has led to all the fabulous flamingo-ness that we have today. But one of the interesting facts about flamingos that applies to what we're talking about today is that many of us think that a flamingo is just a pink bird, or just a bird with a long leg, or just a bird that looks weird, right? But every single flamingo, even though it's a flamingo, has his own unique voice and his own unique personality. So even zoologists have a hard time telling a male flamingo from a female flamingo until they get really close and personal with it, right? But each flamingo recognizes the other ones for their voice and their personality. And you and I walk in a world of our right fit client every day. And our potential right fit clients, and we give them labels. And we say, they're this kind of person, or they have this kind of problem. But how much more could we serve them, like we saw this morning with Shameen's presentation, if we realize that each one of them is unique, and each one of them wants to be seen as unique? They want you to notice them for who they are. They want you to behold them for their uniqueness. And when we use these tools that we're going to talk about today, we really can do that. We can see them and serve them in accordance with that uniqueness. As connected as we are in the world today, here's some stats about loneliness, which we all know is technically feeling unloved or unseen, right? And if anybody wants these sources, I'm happy to share them afterwards. But this survey found that more than 80% of people under 18 report feeling lonely. 43% of people 18 to 25 report feeling unloved. 73% aged 27 to 42 say they're lonely. 22% aged 43 to 58 are lonely and have no friends. And 60% age 65 plus say they regularly feel lonely. And I don't know about you, but I want us to be the kind of marketer that breaks the bounds of what people expect from marketers. We all know Victoria Labalme from Platt, and this is her quote: "Break the boundaries of what people expect from marketers." I believe that we can do better at loving our people, at serving our people, and when we do, it will translate into that greater connection, conversion, and retention, but it also translates into greater learning for them, greater implementation for them, which also will help us to market our things. And so, first off, to do this, we're going to talk about psychological safety. And I'm not the expert. That would be more Julie's domain, and she was gracious enough to send me some sources to help with this. But psychological safety, according to this definition by Harvard Business Review, is that psychological safety is a belief that it's okay to take risks, to express ideas and concerns, to speak up with questions, to admit mistakes, all without fear of negative consequences. So let's look at that again with some highlighted words here. Take risks, express concerns, admit mistakes, ask questions. Isn't that what we want people to do when we're making them an offer? And so if we want them to be able to do those things, we have to create a safe space for that. We have to create the safety in which it's okay to do those things without fearing. It's very interesting. So here's a similar definition to this one, and this one comes from the 1 Minute Harvard. But they take this a step further, and they say psychological safety, I've underlined it there, but I know it's hard to read. Psychological safety allows risk-taking openness. And we want openness in marketing, right? Being open to new ideas, new things. It allows for creativity, thinking creatively about the opportunity, about how I'm going to pay for the opportunity, right? It also ignites positive emotions like trust. And haven't we been saying for years as marketers that they have to know, like, and trust us in order to buy in for themselves? So here's another one. This is Clark's 4 stages of psychological safety. This comes from an HR profiling solution, so they're applying this more to teams in the workplace. But if we take a look at this from a marketing perspective, look at this from the lens of sales conversations, right? Stage 1 in psychological safety is making them feel safe, valued, and treated fairly. Stage 2 is that they are safe to learn and grow, safe to ask questions, safe to give and receive feedback, right? So stage 1 for our purposes is the marketing. Stage 2 is the delivery in our programs. But the key word in all of this is really safe. How do I make my people feel safe, seen, heard, loved, safe? And this is not a new idea. Educational brain research tells us there's something physiological that happens in the brain when people don't feel safe. There's actually connections and neurons and things that are secreted in your brain that inhibit learning, inhibit decision making when I don't feel safe. And it's not just for children, it's for adults too. And so the safer we can make our people in any process of their customer journey with us, the easier it is for them to say yes to them, to take the risk, to ask the question, to implement the things. And just like each of us has our own primary love language, we also have a primary learning style that we learn with. And so the learning styles, the 4 learning styles are visual, auditory, read and write, and kinesthetic, which means more hands-on or tactile. And so visual learners like slides and photos and diagrams and icons and charts and demonstrations. They want to see it, right? So we have slides today. Auditory learners like speaking and hearing. They like discussion. They're verbal processors. So we're going to give you a chance in a second to discuss. When you read and write, these are learners who learn from transcripts or books. They like written instructions. They like to take notes on things. So you have notes today to take notes on. They like to journal. They like to write. They also like fun pens, which you have in your sunshine bag. Kinesthetic learners, these are the people who can't process information well unless their body is in motion. So I have a child that could never do even half a page of math facts unless he was sitting on the rocking horse beside the table. Because when his body was in motion, his brain could process. These are your gum chewers. These are your fidgeters. These are, those kinds of people, right? And so for them, we give them fidgets. We give them crafts to do. We give them stickers. We give them notes to doodle on, right? We allow them to be in motion. We give them candy to eat while we're talking. Those people need something to physically touch and manipulate so that their brain can process information. And this is something that you can include in any of your trainings and in the ways that you deliver your programs. The bottom line is that when we include more of these kinds of things in what we teach, we're able to help our students and our clients implement and learn better because we're teaching to all the styles. All right? And again, this is overview because we have limited time, but I'm happy to go deeper with you guys, anyone who wants to. But in the end, what we're really doing here is trying to create customer loyalty, right? And so here is a HubSpot survey. 74% of the participants in the HubSpot survey said that it was more about feeling appreciated and understood than receiving a special discount or offer. My loyalty to you is more about how I feel than about whatever discount you might give me. 64% said they would spend more on a brand who remembers them and customizes or personalizes the experience. 86% of loyal customers will recommend the brand to your friends and family, and 66% will write a positive online review after a good experience. This is what we want for our people.